This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning. In the morning.
Shade 4-5.
Wake your fuck ass up.
Sway in the morning, Shade 4-5. Had to be there. A few people. When I first came into broadcast journalism, is when I first started working in radio in 1990. Mm-hmm. In San Francisco. I didn't. This was like right. I was still a teenager, so this was right after high school, and I didn't study for it. I didn't, go to school for it. I kind of got thrust into this position based on King Tech and I were artists, putting out music independently. My partner King Tech and won a competition to do a radio show called that we eventually called the Wake Up Show, and got on a station called 106 KMEL, which at that time was the flagship station in music culture. Right. A lot of radio stations took their cue from KMEL. Before the New York stations were playing hip hop 24/7, we were integrating hip hop into the playlist on KMEL in San Francisco. But then I start wanting to develop the craft, and so I start studying certain people, and I always would point out certain people that I could learn from, and that would inspire me. And then when I came to MTV in 2000. I had never done news. I never covered news or didn't care. I was just happy to be on MTV and tell the truth about hip-hop.
Hey, speak on it.
That's what I was there for.
Speak on it.
To tell the truth about hip-hop, because I thought they weren't doing a great job after Yo MTV Raps went off, but I also wanted to present people who came from this culture in a different way. I wouldn't use slang, and I took it very seriously, even when I was doing TRL and all those different things. But I was taking cues from a lot of people, that I really admired, and I always watch folks, whether it's Robin Roberts or Dan Rather, Ed Bradley, Oprah, certain folks that have always stood out to me, and I thought they were really great at their craft. And then there were some folks that gave you more than just their craft. They gave you themselves. And I learned a lot about that, too, because the way I was coming up, I didn't know you could give yourself when you're doing, broadcast journalism. I didn't know I always treat it's not about me. It's only about the news, And I didn't really give a whole lot of opinion on things at that time because I just wanted to be a conduit and give the truth out. Here are the facts, But I remember watching our next guest go through a life-changing experience. And then she shared it with the world when she was diagnosed with breast cancer and had a mastectomy and was followed around and gave that story. And I remember thinking, damn, this woman right here is my hero. So now that even empowered me to share my stories. I mean, none as triumphant as hers. I mean, or brave or courageous as what she's done with her career. And she's here with us today. She's an author, went to Virginia Tech.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, studied broadcast journalism. She's on the Today Show, Dateline. She does all sorts of things. And she's here to celebrate her new book. She's with us today. Please welcome Hoda Kotb, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
We've been walking by each other in the hallway.
Yes, we've been waiting for our moment. I didn't know there was so much wine in here.
Well,
that's what I'm noticing. I'm sorry, no, but this is like the show I do with Kathy Lee, except for a lot more wine.
Yeah, you're really
Now this is where I come in. I got you. First of all, she's HB too, so there was a connection as well. You know what I mean? So I just was like
HB. It's really HK.
I'm saying HB.
Okay,
that's what I want to call her. That's my girl. Kotb. That's HB. HB. That's why I speak to her in the hallway, and I know
that's how we communicate.
That's how we communicate.
Absolutely right.
Are you just entertaining her, Hoda?
I'm taking care of her.
Okay.
I saw the red wine, and this morning I said, Sway, we got to look out for our girl because we always speaking to her in the hallway. So I called my good friends at Embassy.
Is that why this is here? This is here for me?
Oh, yes.
Y'all did this without me.
No, we got liquor. Our real stash is in that closet over there. I didn't want to bring out the brown and be disrespectful, but we know that you love.
I like my red.
You love
I like my red.
So we wanted to do a toast with you this morning. Heather B was going to.
Yeah, and we just want to say we love you and we appreciate you and we respect you so much, and we're so excited to finally not have you in the hallway hugging you, but to bring you in this way in the morning and hug you and just salute you. And we just down with you, Hoda. So thank you so much. As we hear the nice pours, well, a little more.
Here's the
Hoda
Kotb.
Cheers. Cheers, you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. We're going to come back and talk about our new book, Where We Belong, Journeys That Show Us the Way. Sway in the Morning, Shade 45. You want to talk with Hoda, 888-742-3345. Sway in the Morning, Shade 45. Our good friend and co-worker.
Yes.
Hoda Kotb is here, ladies and gentlemen. The new book is Where We Belong, Journeys That Show Us the Way. This isn't your first book, but it's your latest.
Yes, it is.
Right?
It's the latest.
And it features stories from a lot of folks we know. I'll be honest with you, Hoda, some folks I don't know that are in this book. If I may be transparent, but and it tells kind of how they got to where they are.
Yeah. I think, you know what, in life, I think sometimes you feel like you're making choices in your life, and sometimes you feel like life's just happening. Sometimes you live in a neighborhood and you go to a school because it's close by. You meet a cute guy who lives a few blocks over and you date him. There's a job opening at the mall and you work there and you get promoted a couple of times, so you stay working at the mall. And all of a sudden you get married and your life's there. And you wonder, did I choose this? Or was this kind of the path of least resistance? I just sort of rode on the train and ended up here. The people in this book really kind of put their hands on the steering wheel of their life, because you got to make choices and turn right or turn left, or otherwise you're just riding a toboggan. I mean, and flying down the mountain. You need to make choices, and I think these people did. They made some of them are tough choices, some were easy choices, but they made choices.
One of the people that that is featured in this book is Layla Ali, who I'm a huge fan of.
Don't you love her?
I love Layla Ali, and I love her. Her family's legacy. But it tells stories that I really didn't know. I didn't know that Muhammad Ali, his third wife, right, was her mother, and she had a sister too, an older sister. And when they got divorced, they went to live on their own. And a year later, her mother brought a man in the house that she didn't particularly care for.
Yeah, she didn't. Yeah,
and so that was a conflict.
Yeah. And I mean, imagine you're Layla Ali and you are the daughter of one of the most famous men, arguably in the world, and you don't want anyone to know. Like, she was working as a manicurist, and she didn't want anybody to know that her dad was Muhammad Ali, because she felt like she wanted to do her own thing. And the fact that she thought she might like boxing, but didn't know women could. And when she saw women boxing on some cable show, she was like, "Wait, women can box?" And she didn't want to tell her dad because she didn't want to screw it up. Yeah. She didn't want her dad to know that, if she wasn't that good, he would think like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, he has a legacy. But she has kind of a complex relationship, I think, with her folks. But she is such a breath of fresh air, and she found that lane, but just for a minute. Because sometimes I think where we belong might be something 1 year, and then 4 years later you may belong somewhere else, right?
Somewhere else, right? Yeah, that is so real. True. And interesting with her. He wanted her to be a Muslim, right, and follow the faith of Islam, and she rebelled against that too, right?
Yeah,
which as a child is kind of hard to go, especially a daughter, to go against your dad.
To making a choice like that, because that was such an important part of his life, and then you watch her kind of going off on her own way, and throughout this book you'll see people who made choices that are either professional or personal or whatever, or faith-based, whatever they are, but to find their sweet spot, to find their groove.
This is a good book.
It's little too.
I'm gonna let y'all jump on this, Heather, but it was another story. Good friend of mine, Mark Burnett.
Oh my gosh!
I worked with Mark with MTV, the movie awards. We've done a few things together. Creator of Survivor, and Roma, his wife, has been on the show. Mark and Roma have been on the show a few times.
Oh, have they?
Yeah,
you love them.
Yes,
love them. And Roma it's a story of Roma that she was telling, that she had to consult with Della Reese, who's co-starred with her in Touched by an Angel. And you want to tell this story? I thought this was
I couldn't believe this. I was interviewing her for this, and she said she was walking around. She was on that TV show Touched by an Angel, and she played the role Monica. And she said every year she would go to the hospital to console people who needed a little extra help or love over the holidays. And she said she was walking through a hospital one year and she looked in a room and there was a family who had lost a baby. And she saw them, she wasn't sure what was going on, but she saw them place a baby on a bed and they were all crying. And she looked in the door and she just happened to catch the eye of the mom. And the mom looked up at her and said, Monica, the name of the character
Touched by
and Touched by an Angel. And she said, and she goes, Monica, come here. And so Roma walked over to her and she said, I just asked God to send me an angel. Yeah. And here you are. And so this woman crumbled into Roma's arms and just started sobbing. And when it was over, she went home and she called Della Reese. She said she got home. She said, I feel horrible. And Della Reese said, why? She said, this woman, she said she needed an angel, she'd asked God for an angel. And she said, and I that's my name on TV. I'm not even that person. And Della stopped her and she said, how do you know God didn't send you to see her that day in that moment? Ooh. Right?
I got chills off of that, man. That's in the book, Where We Belong, Journeys That Show Us the Way. So I wanted to know, hearing these stories, every story, even Margaret Cho's has been on the show before. She's from the Bay. I'm from the Bay. We could talk about her story too, but look, reading these stories made me just want to know one of your stories. Oh. A story, a transformative moment for you in your life.
For me, it was, I don't remember, 7 or 8 years ago, and I was newly married, and I was over the moon, and I was working at Dateline, and I was traveling the world, and they sent me to cover every story everywhere, and I thought, boy, my life finally is coming together. And when everything's so awesome on a Monday, and then on a Tuesday, like the floor falls out and you don't know what happened. And it turned out that my husband at the time was unfaithful, which I learned about. But around the same time, I learned that I was diagnosed with cancer, and it happened within a 2-week period. And I remember it so clearly because I wanted everything over. Like, I'm a person who wants it over. I don't want to talk about it. I'd rather just do the surgery, sign the papers, like everything was a mistake. I just was thinking all those things. And I went to, I did the surgery and I had to, it was an extensive surgery and I had to have, a mastectomy and the whole thing. And I still remember one night I was sleeping in the guest bedroom because I didn't want to sleep in the bedroom. I'd slept in with him. And I remember I opened my eyes one day and I had this sort of epiphany. And the epiphany was, I got 4 words. I got, you can't scare me. And I remember I was like this, you can't scare me. Like suddenly nothing seemed that scary to me at all. I just made it through 2 things that could have leveled me. Yeah. But at that point, I still didn't want to talk about the illness because I didn't want people to look at me funny. Yeah. I didn't want people to look at me and see breast cancer. Yeah. I mean, so I remember this, Matt Lauer called me and he said, hey, do you want to go on a Where in the World is Matt Lauer? Are you healed enough to go? It's in Ireland and it's you'll fly there, you'll be there in 7 hours, you shoot and you come back. It's just if you want to get moving. I said, I want to go. And I remember I got on that plane and I landed in Ireland and we did some fake thing where we were all drinking beer and I was singing, but inside I was like, I was feeling horrible. Yeah. And I remember this is when it changed. So I got on the plane to come home. And I'm sitting in my seat, and I just wanted to fall asleep because I thought I'd made a mistake in flying. I wasn't ready to get my life together. Guy sitting next to me, I was about to put my headphones in to fall asleep, and he goes, how you doing? I go like this, hi. And I'm just trying to get my earphones in to go to bed. And he goes, you work on one of those shows? I go, yeah, I work on one, yeah. And I'm like still trying to put them in. And he goes, is that the one with Matt Lauer? Al Roker is so funny. I like that Al Roker. I go, yeah, Al's funny. And I just was and I love to talk on a plane, but I wanted to go to bed. But all of a sudden we started talking and talking and talking. And then a minute later he said, what's that on your arm? And I said, oh, it's a compression sleeve. He said, well, what's that for? And I said, oh, well, I had a surgery and the doctor said I should wear it. And he goes, oh, well, what surgery did you have? I go, well, I had an operation, a procedure. Anyway, the doctor said I should wear it. So anyway, and he goes, well, what was the procedure? And I go, right? So I said, you know what? I said, okay, because I liked this guy. He was very friendly. And I said, you know what? I said, I have breast cancer. I said, but I hope when you get off the plane, you don't say I sat next to a girl with breast cancer. I go, I hope there are other things you learned about me that you remember before. And he goes, what is wrong with you? And I said, what? He said, what is wrong with you? He said, breast cancer's part of you. He said, it's like going to college or getting married. He said, let me give you some advice and you can go to sleep. I said, okay. And this is what he said that changed me. He said, don't hog your journey. It's not just for you.
Breathe.
Let it breathe.
Yep.
Let it breathe.
Right?
Don't hog your journey.
It's not just for you. He said, think of how many people you could have helped on the plane ride home. He said, you can put your stuff deep in your pockets and take it to your grave, or you can help somebody. He said, choice A or choice B.
Baby, you just hit me with it, right?
Hoda
So that was
Kotb.
We got a pour. That's a pour. That's a pour.
I didn't know it was so heavy in here.
Sway, pour. It's a pour. It's a pour. It's a pour.
Okay.
You got to pour
Listen.
on that one.
Listen, Hoda. Here, unfortunately, with our time,
That's all right.
Wow, that's the way to end it.
Hey,
I love you, Sway.
I love you.
I'll come back anytime.
okay, come
And I'll show
back.
you my dance moves when I come back.
Okay, because we're going to have you doing the whipping and then Hoda Kotb. Make sure you get the book, Where We Belong, Journeys That Show Us the Way. This is an amazing conversation.
You too, Sway. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks,
Absolutely.
guys. Thank you
we
all
want
so
to thank
much.
JB Smooth for coming by today as well.
Yep.
Kim
girl,
Cattrall.
Kim
Kim
Cattrall.
Cattrall.
You had a busy show.
Hell yeah, it was awesome.
Hoda, Kim was on me too.
Yeah, she was loving them.
She smelled my
She
neck.
sniffed on you.
Sway usually wears t-shirts and hoodies. Hoda, you know,
Hoda
because you
knows
see
she
him in
see
the
me every
hallway.
day.
You see what this
You
this
did
get
change the look today. Oh, now I know
up.
why.
Even Hoda says Sway.
I thought it was for me.
Damn, Sway.
Got the ladies on them.
Yo, Hoda, I have a nice hoodie on for you tomorrow, though. I know you like them thugs. Need that thug loving.
I hate you, Sway.
Tell Matt, I met Matt at the White House a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you meet Matt Lauer?
Matt Lauer was. I called him Matt.
You called him Matt, you
I didn't kind of do that. He was at the White House at the Christmas party.
Oh, yes.
And he looked at me like I have no idea who you are. I was the guy on the plane. Not to him. He was like, yeah, sure, I'll take the picture. No, Matt, I'm a big fan of yours, man. I've been following you for. Can you take the picture, please? All right, okay, man, fine. I got the
I'll
picture.
have to set him straight.
Okay, now
I'll take care of him.
and Al and his lovely wife came here
Lovely
recently to
Al.
promote.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we have you here. Okay,
Thank you, Sway. Thanks
absolutely.
for having me.
Tracy, how can I reach you?
Yo, find me on Twitter. Hit me on Instagram at It's Tracy G, ITS, ACYG. I'm also on Snapchat, It's Tracy G Snaps, and you can find out more about my thoughts by visiting my site, she'sbeautyandthebeast.com.
Heather B.
Citizens, you know I got the bomb food and drink recipes. If you want them, go to the happy hour with heatherb.com.
Hoda, how can people reach you on social media, and where can they find the book?
At Hoda Kotb, by a vowel, because there are bad letters in that. HODAKOTB. Kotb.
Okay.
I'm on Twitter that way, too. I'm everywhere that way. Get the book anywhere. Amazon, at Barnes & Noble. Clickety-clack. It's on there.
There it is.
You find it.
All right, I'm at Real Sway on Twitter, Instagram, Sway Calloway on Facebook, and Snapchat, and Sway's Universe is where we place all these videos of all our interviews, so you can check it out firsthand. And if you want to hear this show back, all you have to do
is go to SiriusXM.com/on demand.
And on that note,
Nice.
we have nothing left to say.
It's Sway in the morning, only
On Shea 45.